Let's go back to the basics and talk about how to outline and flood a sugar cookie. Now, I know we don't want to talk about it, but fall, winter, and the holidays are quickly approaching, and you guys are going to want to be doing sugar cookies at home for the holidays. So let's go back to some of the basics. I personally use two different consistencies, one for my outline and one for my flood. You absolutely do not have to do it this way. Sometimes it is easier to only use one consistency when you're first starting out, but I found that this actually makes my decorating process much faster. Now, my outline consistency tends to be about toothpaste type thickness. I want it to be thick enough that it has some structure, so that way if my flood icing is a little bit thinner, it will still hold, but also be workable enough that it's not coming out like a super thick string of icing. So when we're talking about flood consistency, it really is preference. And when I first started decorating royal icing cookies, I just had to play around with it and figure out what works best for me and what I prefer in my decorating process. Now, my flood consistencies more often than not sit anywhere between 8 and 12 seconds, and that just kind of depends on what I'm using the royal icing for. And basically what that means is when you fold the royal icing over itself in the bowl when you're mixing it, how many seconds does it take for most of those ripples to kind of dissipate and for your icing to completely flatten? That's how you know how many seconds your consistency is. I have been leaving a little bit of space around the edge to pull the icing out and then fill in any areas, pop any air bubbles, and you have a beautifully flooded cookie. Let me know what questions you guys have, and I'll see you in the next one.